As you know, typhoid fever is a major public health concern in the world. It has been attributed to poor sanitation and hygiene. The concept of a healthy carrier was not there till Typhoid Mary came. So, in this section we will talk about Typhoid Mary. Typhoid Mary's real name was Mary Mallon, and she was Irish by birth and was born in the year of 1869. And she migrated to United States at the age of 15 years, where she worked as a domestic help, mostly as a cook. She worked as a cook at various households in New York City. So while working in different households, she infected a lot of people working in the who were staying in the families, and she herself never developed symptom, but she was able to infect all other people who are staying in the household. So in the first household where she worked, she infected all the people of the family came positive for typhoid. Then she went to another household where people developed diarrhea and fever, and the laundress also died of some unknown reason. So after that she worked at another household at the place of a lawyer, where 6 of the 7 members of the family developed typhoid fever. Mary herself was not able to know why it was causing, or she was the cause of all those things, but she thought she also might get the fever. That's why she left after working for few days at the household. Then she went to another household of a banker, where 7 of the 11 members of the family got affected by the typhoid fever. So the landlord becomes suspicious, and also he was also scared that if more people from his household come positive for typhoid fever, then nobody will take rent of his house. So he started investigating, and he employed a private investigator to find out the cause of this typhoid fever. For that, the investigators collected samples from their toilets, their bathrooms, and also all other water, tap water, and all other water reservoirs present in the household. But all of them came negative.
Mary Mallon was once again forced to change her workplace, and that's when the previous owner hired a private investigator specially for her case called George Soper. So he was able to see how she impacted so many families, and he was very skeptical, and realized that the previous owner's daughter also died because of typhoid. So he was able to narrow down that she is the main person spreading the disease, and went to confront her. She was very angry because of this blame that he put on her, and was not willing to cooperate to give any samples. Unfortunately, at that time, it couldn't be found out, and George Soper, the person that he is, tried different ways and hunted down even her boyfriend to try and convince her to give samples. Even when that did not work, she was arrested, and she was made to give her stool samples, in which they found a large number of typhoid bacteria. It's very important to know that Mary Mallon herself did not know that she was spreading the disease, and she thought that it was very normal to get this disease because it was happening through contaminated food and water, which was actually present everywhere, whose source she could not have been. So her anger was very justified at that time, and eventually when they realized that there are many bacteria in her stool samples, they had theorized that it's coming either from the intestine or gallbladder. So it's very important to remember that they were not aware of the germ theory of disease. Another important thing to realize was that it was not aware by healthcare workers that there can be present a healthy carrier who can transmit the disease. So finally, after a lot of trial and error, even though they didn't find the exact the source of the disease mainly, she was released, and she had to change her names many times to try and get jobs because she was not allowed to work, but she still had to because of poverty. And George Soper also got to know eventually through word of mouth from other domestic workers that she has been working. And again, she had to go through a second very long quarantine where most of her life went in isolation. And unfortunately, at the age of 69, Mary Mallon expired because of pneumonia. And although she caused deaths and infection of around 53 people or more because of typhoid, she's a hero. Because of her, we've come to know this disease, and everyone else after this could have been treated. Thank you.
As you heard the story of Typhoid Mary and how she spread disease, the typhoid disease among the different places where she worked, and how her life was quite difficult after the investigator suspected that she was the carrier. And also this story tells about how the healthy carrier can also be there in typhoid fever, and that person can knowingly or unknowingly transmit typhoid fever to other people without him or her become symptomatic. So this was the story of Typhoid Mary, and as a carrier for typhoid fever. Thank you.